project really started as a conversation amongst our CIO and some researchers that are out here on Appledore Island at Shoals Marine Lab about 3 years ago in 2013. And at the time we found a program that had been very successful here at UNH through the National Science Foundation called the Field Station Marine Lab, or FSML, grant program. And what the program is designed to do is build infrastructure to support field stations and marine laboratories across the country through the National Science Foundation. And so we looked at it as there's this big gaping need for internet connectivity out on the island, as well as an opportunity to enhance the research that's going on in this place with the kind of cyber infrastructure that we've been building elsewhere across the University of New Hampshire, elsewhere across the state of New Hampshire, and across the New England region. So we said, this fits. So in partnership with the researchers who were working here and the facility itself, we looked to understand how could we build a network that didn't really intrude on what's going on here on the island, but at the same token would also provide the communications and connectivity that would allow new kinds of research to happen that had no possible way of occurring with the small network link that they had prior to this. It gives students the chance to come to this remote location, do research, but also use the same tools they would as if they were on the campus environment at UNH in Durham. They can bring their tools, laptops, remote devices. They can get access to data, which would be off-site. They can also communicate using Skype or video conferencing or any kinds of other tools with partners, researchers, people that they want to ask questions of from here, without having to worry about, I gotta get a boat, I gotta go back on the mainland and ask a question and then come back out again, or try to convince that person, that expert, to come to the island for a period of time. And that can easily be a 1 to 2 day excursion to be here for what could be an hour or two worth of time, just by the way the schedules work.
It's allowed students better access back to their main campus, working on their projects, getting the information they need to do their projects. It's allowed professors to be able to Skype in, video conference. It's also allowed on my end of the technology side, it's allowed a lot of our equipment that is now networkable, like most things are becoming meters, to be able to access that data from anywhere. And that's been a big plus, especially in the off season where we're shut down for the winter. I can dial in and see what our green grid. We have a green grid out here that runs off of solar and wind, and we have a big battery bank, and I can look and see what the status is of all that equipment from afar, which is great.
I've been coming out here for about 5 years, and I've managed the physical lab here for the last 2 years, and I was always having to run back to the office or to the commons area if I needed to order supplies or if I needed to look up something for students. And now I'm back as a teaching assistant for 2 weeks, and it's great to see the students be able to look up scientific papers while they're working on their projects here in the lab. It's really been an amazing transformation, and between hard work by Ross and the other Shoals Marine Lab engineers, I'm really grateful to have the Wi-Fi here.
We've had some trouble getting the information in from the mainland, as you can imagine, but now that it does work, I like to lead a lot of my lectures with video, and the students are using a lot of video input on their own. So in the end of the course, when students do their own presentations, they actually are using GoPros, hooking them up to the network, and Wi-Fiing them to each other, and then they can present them to the whole class. So it's interconnected way more than it ever has been.
So for about the same cost on an operating perspective, we've upgraded the network link some 20 times to provide greater service to the researchers and the students who are on the island, both when they're here during the season, but also on the off season in terms of monitoring the facilities, making sure that nothing has gone bad when this winter is taking place and things of that nature.
In the winter, of course, we're shut down. We're a seasonal facility, and winter trips have to be planned when there's nice weather, which isn't always necessarily the case in New England. We plan around the tides, and access can be touch and go in the winter. So to be able to not only look at our equipment, we also have a camera that is able to keep an eye on the facility. So especially during a storm or some sort of event where you wonder what's going on in here, it's nice to be able to look in and see the buildings. I'm grateful for all the work that was done to make this happen. NSF, this FSML grant that we received has been huge for us to make this facility a much better place for students to be able to come out and do their work and take advantage of this beautiful island. And I appreciate all their work.